morning, and welcome to our Veterans Day edition of the Hornet Buzz. Tomorrow is a very special day when we should all take time to reflect on how our war veterans have impacted our lives for the better. Make sure you thank all of the veterans that you know tomorrow. Our whole broadcast will be devoted to honoring our veterans. So let's get started with Claire Munchin reporting on the history of Veterans Day.
Veterans Day is always observed on November 11th. On Veterans Day, Americans honor all living military veterans, including the many working moms who are veterans of military service. Veterans Day is celebrated with speeches and parades across the U.S. The holiday began as Armistice Day on November 11, 1919, the first anniversary of the end of World War I, which took place at the 11th hour on the 11th day of the 11th month. In 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the legislation changing the name to Veterans Day in order to honor veterans of all American wars. On November 11, 1921, an unidentified American soldier killed in the war was buried at Arlington National Cemetery in Washington, D.C. It is called the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. An official wreath-laying ceremony is held each Veterans Day at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Arlington National Cemetery. Usually the president or another high-ranking government official lays the wreath on the grave.
Thanks, Claire. Next up will be Rebecca with a list of veterans who are family members to Davenport staff.
Tomorrow is Veterans Day, and we would like to recognize the staff family vets. First off is Gerald Wright, father of Mrs. McNa, Army. Next is Garen King, husband of Mrs. King, Army. After that is Barry Brenman, father of Mrs. Hobbs, Army. Ralph Brenman, grandfather of Mrs. Hobbs, Air Force. Next, Jack Hobbs, father-in-law of Mrs. Hobbs, Army. Dale Erdman, father of Mrs. Ryan, U.S. Navy. Lisa Little, daughter of Mrs. Little, Army. Zach Little, son of Mrs. Little, Army, currently deployed in the Middle East. Next is Sergeant Jared Wilkie, brother of Mrs. Simpkins, Army. After that is CW3 Brian Wilkie, brother of Mrs. Simpkins, Army. Next is Dan Minger, husband of Mrs. Minger, Air National Guard. Roger Griffith, father of Mrs. McNamara, Marine Corps. Danielle Middleton, daughter of Mrs. Middleton, Army National Guard. Delmare Whitham, father of Mrs. Lind, Army. Carl Rogers, father of Mrs. Leah Bratton, Army. Next, Jake Law, son of Miss Joetta, Army Ranger. Lastly is Kurt Wessner, husband of Mrs. Wessner. He is in the Army.
Thanks, Rebecca. Here are some Davenport students that know very much about living in a military family.
What does Veterans Day mean to you?
It means a lot to me because my dad's Navy SEAL and all the people fighting for our country, if they weren't there fighting, then I probably wouldn't be here speaking right now.
Why are you so proud of your dad?
Because he's a Navy SEAL and he's been in some wars and he's in the military.
What does Veterans Day mean to you?
It means about the Navy SEALs fighting on.
Why are you so proud of your dad?
Because he was a Navy SEAL and he fighted on.
Okay, thank you for joining us. What branch of military is your dad?
The Army.
Why? Your dad was recently deployed. How long was he gone?
He was gone in 500 days.
Why are you so proud of your dad?
Because he's being brave to serving our country and he's doing the right thing.
Thank you. What does Veterans Day mean to you?
For people who served for us.
Why are you so proud of your dad?
Because he served for 6 months.
Okay, Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Guess who? Mrs. Louck.
Good morning. We are here with Mrs. Louck, whose job is a reading specialist at Davenport Elementary. Thank you for joining us, Mrs. Louck.
Thank you.
Where did you go to college?
I went to Eastern Illinois University for my undergrad, and then I did ISU for my master's.
Tell us about your family.
I have a husband, Buddy, and 2 daughters. Kylie is in 7th grade, and Peyton is in 5th grade.
Do you have any pets?
We have a bit of a zoo at our house, actually. We have 2 beagles named Rosabelle and Kitty, and we have 2 hermit crabs, lots of fish, and a snake named Nangini. So,
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
I would probably stop time. That way I could get where I needed to go quickly, or I could get something done before I ran out of time.
What is your favorite branch of the military besides the one you were on?
If I couldn't pick the Army, I would probably pick the Air Force, because I feel like they get the coolest toys.
What was your favorite thing about the military?
My favorite thing about the military was all the really cool things we got to do, and all the people. I met really great friends in the military, and I got to ride in helicopters and go to other countries and rappel off of buildings, so I got to do a lot of cool stuff.
What branch of the military were you on?
I was in the Army National Guard.
Thank you for coming. Mrs. Louck's family.
If you join the military, what branch would you be in? Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, Marine. Army got 63, Air Force got 45, Navy got 41, Coast Guard got 24, and Marine got 20. Army wins.
Say thank you to your veterans.
We should thank our veterans every day, not only on Veterans Day. They fight every day and night.
Thank you, veterans!
Hello, Bob. Hello, Billy. How was your Veterans Day?
Good. How's yours?
Great. Does everyone know what that is?
No, what's Veterans Day?
Well, it is where we honor all of our veterans that fought for our country.
Sounds fun.
Let's take a trip around the world, and I'll show you some of the veterans that fought for our country. You ready to go?
Yep, let's go.
Let's go!
As you can see, these are some of the veterans that have fought and died for our country.
There are more than 400,000 graves here at Arlington Cemetery. Want to see the 5 branches of the military?
Okay, let's go.
Yep.
Here I am at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers, where the first soldier was laid to rest on March 4th, 1921. It is known as the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier because it is where soldiers are laid to rest when they are not identified. Remember to honor our veterans tomorrow. Bye!
What is Mrs. Bachman's favorite military branch?
My favorite branch of the military is
U.S. Air Force, U.S. Navy, U.S. Army, U.S. Coast Guard, or U.S. Marines.
the United States Coast Guard.
Mrs. Westner's 3rd and 4th grade Wall of Peace. 3rd and 4th grade wrote about what way we honor our veterans and how. We show respect to our country on the Wall of Peace.
Calendar. On Saturday, November 11th is Veterans Day. On Friday, November 17th is the PTO movie night. On Friday, November 17th is also the PTO snack sale. Have a great week!
On this day, November 10th, 2009, Sesame Street Day was established in 2009 to celebrate the 40th anniversary of its original broadcast. On November 11th, 1994, Bill Gates bought Leonardo da Vinci's Codex painting for a grand total of $30,800,000. Lastly, on the 11th month of the 11th day of the 11th hour, Germany signed an armistice agreement that ended World War I. Tomorrow is also Veterans Day, so make sure to honor our veterans. Hi, I'm Isabel, and here's the Veterans Day weather. On Friday, the high is 38 and the low is 27. Sunny. On Saturday, the high is 45 and the low is 37. Cloudy. On Sunday, the high is 43 and the low is 29. AM showers. So, what kind of coat is wet when you put it on? A coat of paint!
That's all, folks.